Hey everyone, it's Bill Sanderson here for doing my first YouTube video. Typically I sit here and watch darts, so I figured why not make some predictions. And you will notice that I will not have any fancy graphics or anything on this YouTube channel other than my predictions, because frankly I don't know how to. But if we go to the World Darts Championships, which start tomorrow, I'm going to make some predictions and post them. A couple reasons why. I want to make sure that if I'm right, I show that I'm right. And as I said, I predicted Players Championship. I predicted Mervyn King to be in the quarterfinal. I didn't predict him to get the semifinal or the final. But that was undocumented other than a piece of paper, so I wanted to make sure that I have it down. So what I'm going to do is give you my predictions for the day one tomorrow for the World Darts Championship 2021. Very excited for it, and hopefully if you do watch it, you do enjoy the video. Again, I'll work on the graphics if possible. Maybe I'll get my daughter engaged to help me out. So the first match tomorrow is Steve West against Emmett Galitowal, and to be honest, I know nothing about Emmett in terms of darts. Steve West is a very good player. Typically it takes him about 6 darts to start muttering on the stage, and frankly it looks like he would like to be anywhere else but on the stage playing darts, but at the end of the day he is a decent dart player. So my prediction for that one, and the way I'm going to work this is I'm going to score myself on a system where I get 3 points for a win, and if I actually get the score and sets right, I'll give myself an extra point. Why do I have that scoring system? Well, frankly, because I want to. So in this one, what I'm going to do is take Steve West. I just think he's definitely a great 180 hitter. Usually chews up a dartboard. His face goes redder than my face during this video. He's not really that great to watch, only because he doesn't look like he wants to be there. It looks like he's chewed a lemon all the time, muttering back on stage. Doesn't seem like to be frankly enjoying himself, but I think he's got way a better enough game to beat Emmett. I don't know anything about Emmett, so he might surprise me, but I'm going to take Steve West to win that match 3-0. The next match is Steve Beaton against Diego Portella. I like Steve West, Steve Beaton, the bronze Adonis, but I don't think his form right now is in any good shape, and I think he frankly had a fantastic draw. I would think that about 80% of the people he could have drawn would beat him. He happened to get a fantastic draw and got Diego Portella. And if I were to rate Diego and Steve Beaton, I would put them certainly in the bottom 15% of the 64 players playing in the first round. So again, I think Steve Beaton got very lucky in his draw. And I even think he frankly got lucky with the seed that he would play in the next round, which would be Glenn Durrant. But I guess when you're the bronze Adonis, you can get good luck. I know that he's breaking a record, or breaking Phil Taylor's record for most amount of World Championship appearances, so that's fantastic as well. And I am going to give Steve Beaton the edge here and take him to win that match as well, 3-0. I've seen Diego Portella play some European tours. I've seen him play on the home tours, the online tours. I just don't think he's got the game to compete at a world level. I know he's tried to get his PDC card unsuccessfully. Steve Beaton's been there forever, and I like Steve Beaton to win this one. And again, 3-0. The next match I think is going to be a fantastic one. I just said that Steve Beaton and Diego Portella would be in the bottom 15% of the 64 players, and you look at a bad draw. Both Jeff Smith and Keen Berry in the next game are fantastic players and probably be in the top 15% of the 64 players. So for them drawing each other is probably not a great draw, although I think whoever wins this will be very pleased and really fancy their chances against the seeded player that they play in the second round, which would be Chris Dobie, and they would play on Wednesday afternoon session. This one's a tough one to call. Jeff Smith's got a lot of experience. Keen Berry, being the young 18-year-old Irish, and Jeff Smith being one of the more experienced Canadian player. As you can probably tell with all the Toronto Maple Leafs stuff behind me that I am from Canada. And I think Jeff Smith's just going to edge this one, and for a couple reasons. First of all, the experience, I think, will go a long way. There will be a crowd tomorrow. I think that might play into Jeff Smith's hands. Keane Barry might get a little bit wrapped up in the crowd. He doesn't strike me as someone who gets nervous or anything like that, having seen him play, and I've seen him throw beautiful darts. I just think Jeff's going to edge it at the end. What I think too is Jeff's got the experience not to look ahead and to see Chris Dobie in the next round. And even if you take a look at that quarter is not a bad spot to be. Whoever wins this first round match, I fancy them going to the quarters. You've got Daryl Gurney in this area as well, William O'Connor. But I think if they get through this first round match, I really fancy their chances. So maybe Keane Barry looks a little farther ahead of what might be, and I think Jeff Smith will stay in the moment and win that one. I think it'll be a fantastic match. It'll be the match of the night for sure. And I'm going to say Jeff Smith edges this one 3-2. And that brings us to the only time where I've got to guess what the second round match will be. Is Peter Wright's going to be taking on the winner of Steve West and Amit Galitawala. Again, I fancy it's going to be Steve that gets through. And Peter Wright, the defending champion, I don't think has an easy match, to be honest with you. I think he's in for a handful. And they did play each other in the European Championship, which Peter Wright won 10-6. There was a little bit of needle between the two, so I think it'll be an interesting match along those lines. There was a bit of delay, and Steve West started to slow it down. And it just seemed to be a little bit of needle between the two. They didn't seem to enjoy each other's company, although I don't think Steve West enjoys anyone's company, to be honest with you. He just stomps and mutters and moans on a dart board, so I'm not a big fan of Steve personal level, but to be honest, he's a fantastic dart player. And I think if he ever could start not chirping all the time, he might be able to do a little bit better with his attitude. You know, the one thing I'm concerned about, I think Peter Wright's he's in tough. I can see this going Steve West's way. And the reason why is, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, no one fears playing Peter Wright. Considering he's number 2 in the world, defending world champion. Right now, if you take away the money, he's actually number 1 overall in the seeding, and it looks like no one seems scared to play him. If you take him, you know, Michael Van Gerwen, you take a Gerwin Price, even a Michael Smith, and you see the players seem to just get blown off the board or be very nervous or don't fancy their chances. It's like they think they can beat Peter Wright. They go in knowing they got a shot. If you take a look at the last couple tournaments, you go back to 2017, Jamie Lewis beats Peter Wright, averages 107. Now in that tournament he didn't get to the semifinals where he lost to Phil Taylor, but I mean 107 out of this world. You take a look at 2018, Peter Wright loses to Tony Elsinas. Tony Elsinas averages 93, and his typical average is 88, so he's 5 above his average. Last year, Noel Maladum had a match dart against Peter Wright, and basically, to be honest with you, bottled it. He was at 136 and threw 6 darts and never even got a match dart, or never got a double from 136, and then missed 3 at 26, I believe it was, right on the wire. Otherwise, Peter Wright's out. So, and again, Noel Maladum averages 94 when the year before he averages 85. And even if you take a look at Steve West, who played him in the European Championships, averages 98. Typically, he averages 92. If I go back to the Players' Championship, Ryan Meikle averages 101 against him, and typically his average for the last 2 years is 89. So it's like the players step up their form when they play Peter Wright. They're not scared of him. They're not nervous. So that's really concerning. If and I happen to be a Peter Wright fan, I certainly his games are exciting, but maybe not exciting in the way if you're a Peter Wright fan that you'd like to see that happen. I'm I'm going to take Peter in this match, although like I said, I think it can go Steve West's way. I just think that Peter Wright's going to be just too consistent. He's going to hit a big out. He typically always does a 140, a 167, a 161, something along those lines that will have Steve West muttering and bouncing or stomping around backstage, cursing everyone, probably cursing his mother. I don't know what the person Steve West cursed, but he doesn't take him very long to get upset in a match. I'm going to take it, or I'm going to predict that Peter Wright will win 3-1. I think it'll be close, and just to put the icing on the cake, I'll say that it's 2-1 Peter Wright, and Steve West will miss 3 at tops, and Peter Wright will come in to clean it up, and Steve West will mutter off into wherever he goes with his muttering. So again, in terms of predictions here, I've got West beating Gilladwalla 3-0, Steve Beaton, the Bronze Adonis, winning 3-0 over Diego Portella, Jeff Smith beating Keenberry 3-2 in the match of the night for sure, and Peter Wright edging out Steve West 3-1. The one thing to notice in that West Wright match is there will be a crowd, so I think Peter Wright will feed off that, and that'll give Steve West his 1,000th reason to get upset, because the crowd will be cheering Peter Wright and not cheering him, so that'll make him upset, and he'll blame that, or he'll blame the wind, or he'll blame, I don't know, the color of the wire, he'll blame the dartboard, he'll blame his shoes, maybe someone didn't clean the carpet, maybe someone drops a glass, I don't know what it'll be, but Steve West will not be in a good mood at the end of this. All right, those will be my predictions for tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the first video that I've ever done for YouTube. Hopefully I know how to put this on YouTube, so that'll be my next step. And if I'm successful, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll keep predicting for the rest of the darts tournament. Thank you.